Welcome back. This is Donald with Hidden Path Human Design. And today I want to talk about a subject that is near and dear to my heart: struggles in the family. And what are we really fighting about? So, what do families fight about? So, we fight about household chores and responsibilities: who's going to tidy up, who's doing the dishes, who's going to take out the trash. We fight about money and finances, budgeting, spending, savings, and debt. And we fight about child related daily routines: doing homework, bedtimes, fighting with picky eaters, cleaning rooms, screen time. And is the fight worth it every time? Because you have a lot of families, and I'm sure this doesn't just happen in my own home, but I'm sure it happens in your home as well, where people are just fighting over the stuff. But today we're going to go a little bit deeper on that and find out where it comes from. Now I want to talk a little bit about what is this doing to the family. So chores, for example, become more about fairness, recognition, and the emotional labor it takes to do them when you don't want to do them. And this causes soured relationships, nagging, and people that feel unappreciated or that there's no appreciation for what they do in the household. And one thing I want to say about the nagging is if you're the person identified as the person who is nagging, it can make you self reflect in a negative way as well. And it's never nice to be called a nag or be told that you're being too repetitive. It's not good. Money challenges cause distrust and control issues within a household. This distrust and control issues can also lead to many negative core beliefs about money that develop in the family, like the family doesn't have enough money when that may or may not be true, or money doesn't grow on trees, or we need to save money. And this can create a whole bunch of issues at home. Also, the broken routines can create power struggles and stress. This is routines with your children in particular, and there could be some anxiety about going out. If your children are constantly fighting at home, there's this anxiety about, I don't want to take my kid out of the home because if we go out and they act a certain way, I don't want to have to deal with that. It could also be keeping you in your house. But what's really going on? Fights are actually being caused by a bit of stubbornness. And sad to say, stubbornness is just a part of being human. Not everyone is going to go with the flow. Some people aren't here to go with the flow. They're here to rub against or push against others and ideas and everything for self discovery. In human design, this sort of energy of struggle relates to the channel of struggle, the 3828 in the chart. In this channel, there's this stubbornness that can really throw a wrench into a harmonious home. So you can't have a harmonious home because there's this feeling or background frequency of struggle and stubbornness. People not doing what you tell them to do or not going with the flow of the household. However, without this stubbornness, we wouldn't really have any purpose. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that. The stubbornness starts as like a fuel or a pressure to find purpose. A pressure some carry to fight to find what their purpose is. And they need to find out what brings them purpose. And sometimes people just need to start the fight because that's just how they are, to figure out if it's worth finding out. So they're messing around with things to find out if it's worth the struggle. It's important to recognize that no one's perfect, but there's a value in having this struggle mechanic in your household or even with a spouse or someone you live with. People aren't really living if they don't have a purpose in life. Like if they haven't found their purpose and need to fight for your purpose. So, a lot of if you've ever been in any coaching or anything, coaches will tell you, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So, that's part of the purpose of this fighting energy. It's not a comfortable energy, but there's no growth without it. And living without purpose means you're in this life or death situation. But I don't mean a literal life or death. Living without purpose means you're almost like the walking dead. You're going through life, you're going through the motions, and you don't really feel fulfilled or joyful about anything that's going on in life. Whereas on the other hand, people that fight to find their purpose feel like they're living, they're alive. Life is vibrant, it's full of joy. It's important to have a purpose to fight for, and that's what this pressure is really for. Now I just want to talk a little bit about relationship struggles. So, if you're living with someone who has this kind of struggle energy, I'll call it, it can feel like everything in the household is a struggle. Who's going to walk the dog? Then everybody's fighting about who's going to walk the dog, or who's going to do the chores, whatever those chores may be. And everything can just feel like a struggle. And the thing is, like, some people are here to represent this energy, and that's just who they are. And then others are here to learn from the energy, like an opportunity. But what tends to happen is you can get pulled in to that fighting energy, and this starts building over time about really trivial matters. Like, really, does it matter who's going to walk the dog? Someone's eventually going to do it, as long as we allow it to just happen. So there's this constant pressure that can create distance between two or more people, even within a family. And the people will want to distance themselves from each other. And I guess in some extreme cases, this could even lead to breakups or not talking to certain people within your life or your family, which never feels good. But I guess it's a choice some people do make. So this avoidance is due to thinking that we know how the other person will behave. Oh, if I do this, that other person's going to freak out and it's going to become this big thing. So I'm not going to do that, or I'm going to avoid them so that I don't get into this fighty mode. How can we live in harmony with this struggle? So if you live with someone with this energy, it's really important to give them space, not distance, but space, and let them struggle with things, because that's how they're going to find out what's important to them. And that's also going to keep you from getting wrapped up in what they're struggling with. So I learned this in my own experience the hard way with my wife, who has this channel. And I didn't have human design in my life years ago. It's only been the past 3-4 years now that I've had this knowledge in my life. So before, I would see that she's struggling, and without ever asking her if she needed help, I would jump in. And this behavior is pretty exhausting. It's part of who I am and who I'm learning how to be. This became very exhausting when I didn't know about it. So I was stuck in this struggle, whether it was invited or not, with her to help her to ease her struggles. But it's exhausting for me. And also, I was getting in the way of her finding out what's worth struggling for, right? So she's not learning, and I'm jumping in and I'm becoming exhausted myself. So, what I've been able to do through the human design system is step back unless she asks for my help. And this has really deepened my love for her. So I let her struggle for what she feels she needs to struggle for. And I can step back and play a supportive role when invited to do so. Part of this struggle energy is being invited and recognize that you can help the person into the struggle Because if you're not invited, you're basically going to get tossed around by this, and it's not going to feel good, just from my own personal experience. And I also want to mention that struggle, fighting, this pressure to play games with each other, it's not bad. This is one of the misconceptions about this energy, that it's a negative energy, that it's not useful. However, the truth is it's neither good nor bad. It just is. It helps us grow, it helps us find our purpose. Finding the awareness of what to fight for is quite healthy for us as human beings. When you or someone you know is struggling, you can ask them, or you can ask yourself rather, am I respecting their process? Is this what they need to do for themselves at this time? So rather than getting rolled in with it, you can take a step back as more of a support for both yourself and them, and really ask yourself those introspective questions. How do we manage this energy? Part of this energy is there's this constant pressure to struggle for things. So if you have this energy, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't have this energy, you may feel this from others. And it's important to release this pressure buildup inside of yourself. So this is one of the athletic channels, this channel of struggles, going for a walk or hitting the gym when it's not worth fighting for. When you figure out that, oh, maybe this isn't something I should be fighting for. Because when this energy is not used, it can turn into fights over the little things, and this builds up into bigger fights. And then all of a sudden, nobody in the household knows why they even started fighting. Everybody's angry at each other, and they've all retreated to their own spaces. So it won't feel good for you or anyone else what's going on unless you get rid of this energy or manage it in a healthy way. So if this is your energy, really get in touch with your body. It can help you recognize when you need to let off some of this steam in a healthier way, because it's going to build up regardless. It's just a mechanic of, who you are, and managing it is going to be really important for not only your health, but the health of others in your household. Just some final thoughts on this channel of struggle. All the fighting is simply due to how we find our purpose. And it's not about causing pain to others or making life difficult, although it can feel that way sometimes. It's about moving forward and learning how to work with this energy to find some real undiscovered purpose. This is a very mutable or changing energy that helps you discover more about yourself through actually struggling for the things that will make you feel like they're worth it. And human design is one tool that can provide you with more personal insight into how your energy is working in your own system, and also how the energy is working in your other family members' systems. This is really about personal growth. As you grow as a person within your household, you become this role model or agent of change in your house, and you help other people grow. So this personal growth in yourself ripples outwardly to others. And this is what I've really found in my own life, in my own household. And that's why I'm doing this, to bring this out to other people, because I think it's very important information. If you want to work with me, I offer foundational human design readings covering your type, strategy, authority, and other key aspects of your design. Details, I'm going to put them in the video description below. And if you like this content, remember to like it, share it, and subscribe for more videos. Thank you so much.